might not remember planning this life, but it doesn't mean that you didn't. I see this all the time in Akashic Record readings. People begin to realize that some of the most important things that happened to them in their life were not random at all. The people, the turning points, the wonderful and the difficult experiences. I see it again and again in my clients' life and in my life too. So here's the million-dollar question today. Did your soul plan parts of your current lifetime? Hi, I'm Linda Dolan. I'm a Akashic Record practitioner and author, and I welcome you to my channel, Feel the Love from Above. This is where we talk about souls, journeys, and simple ways to tap into the divine guidance that's always available to you. And today we're going to focus on soul planning. And by the end of this video, I think you're going to have a deeper understanding of it and how it's impacted your own life. So let's take a deeper look at soul planning from the perspective of a soul's journey. One of the questions I get asked the most is, did my soul plan this before I came here? From what I've learned in the Akashic Records, the answer is yes. But it's often not how people imagine it to work. Because it's less about planning specific moments, but has everything to do with intention. Themes your soul wants to experience, soul gifts that you want to share, and other experiences that lead to deeper understanding and insight and even joy. And of course, not every moment could possibly be mapped out because you have free will when you come here. But certain relationships and challenges and turning points are often planned. And when you begin to start looking at your life through that lens, some things might begin to make a lot more sense. Before we go deeper into this topic, I'm curious about something. Have you ever experienced something that you just know is not random? Maybe a relationship or a turning point that changed the direction of your life. So I'm really excited to share what I know about pre-planning, and most of it came from a young child named Stephen, who is on the other side and who I channeled and then wrote about in a book called Feel the Love from Above. Stephen's story contains many spiritual insights, and including how pre-planning works. If I had to describe him in one word, it would be passionate. And in his last lifetime, he was most passionate about trains. And his family fully supported that passion. They took him on train rides and bought him train pajamas and a conductor's hat and all kinds of train villages that he would patiently arrange and rearrange for days. Although his life may have been shorter than most, his life was filled with play and fun and love and passion, especially for trains. So today Stephen's in heaven, and he is a pre-life planning consultant. Now, you might be surprised about jobs in heaven, and for today, just know I'm going to do another video on that. But for now, just know working in heaven is nothing like working here because there's no bad bosses or toxic work culture. Souls have complete freedom in heaven. And these jobs are not mandatory, they're a choice. They're simply about pursuing something that you love and helping souls on earth. So Stephen is part of a very large team of souls that help us plan for upcoming lifetimes. He helps them consider and weigh the pros and cons of all kinds of things, like choosing a body and where you want to live and families and life themes, all based on what you want to experience in a lifetime and the gifts you want to share with the world. He guides them much like a wise mentor or supportive therapist, compassionate friend would. He offers ideas and possibilities and loving support. Members of our soul families often volunteer to play roles, and they ask, "How can I help you?" And the roles they play can be someone difficult, someone loving, and even earth angels. And I'll give you an example of each of those. So my example for a difficult person is a difficult boss that I had for 20 years. And it made it difficult to go to work sometime. And it got so bad, it came to the point where I had to decide, am I willing to leave this job that I truly love? Or am I willing to learn how to set boundaries and be assertive and use my voice? And of course, you're guessing, I did learn how to do that. And was it easy? No. Was I grateful at the time? No, it was so hard. But now I look back and I say, that person volunteered to teach me something really important. And I'm so grateful for her. I see it now as a gift. And I know her coming into my life, that could not have been random. So the example of a loving arrangement is my husband, Jim. Because 10 months before I met him, I heard a voice say, within a year, you will meet and marry a wonderful man. And I did. And we've been married for 45 years. And that I know is not random at all. I know he was a gift from God. And my third example is for an earth angel. And this is my friend Lynn's story. It happened when she was 22, fresh out of university, struggling to find her first teaching job. She had been through many interviews, but not chosen. So one day she was standing at a bus stop on her way to yet another interview when a woman approached her and said, "Lynn, I was on the hiring committee for the job at our school, and I want you to know it was a really difficult choice. You did an amazing job, and we know you will be a wonderful teacher. But it came down to you and another person who had vast experience. So he was chosen. But please know, it wasn't anything wrong with you. You are an amazing teacher." Well, her energy changed in that moment. She had been kind of dreading going to the interview, but now she felt excited again and with hope and possibility. And of course, you know, she got the job, and it was the beginning of a lifelong career of education. So that's how earth angels work. They might come into your life for a mere moment, but their coming changes the direction of your life. So back to soul planning. Even pets can be involved because they can come and give us unconditional love and support at times when we really need it. And you know, sometimes souls choose like hard things. They want accelerated growth. But in those moments, in those circumstances, Stephen and the other team, they encourage them to build in balance, to not make everything difficult, but to have an even balance of joy and meaning and love along with challenges. Because everything feels easy in heaven, and then we come here and it's not easy, it's messy. And it's not designed to be easy. It's designed for growth and experience and learning. And it's actually a really unique place to learn, because Earth is the only place in the universe where you have a physical body, an emotional body, a mental body, spiritual body, and balancing all that is not easy, as you know already. And it's why Earth is sometimes known as the Mount Everest of soul learning. So just know you're very brave to come here. So Stephen's story reminds us that a lot of what we experience is not random and is likely part of what we plan to experience here. I've been talking a lot about challenges, so I thought I'd just give you a couple examples of what challenges could look like. Things like physical illness, fear, having limiting beliefs like I'm not good enough, even learning about trust and surrender. And addiction is a common choice. But the one universal challenge we all have is learning how to love and accept ourselves, which is not easy. And souls also choose themes of learning, themes like compassion, self-worth, or persistence are just a few examples. There's probably 100 that souls choose from. And they choose them because they want to increase soul wisdom and mastery. So I'm curious, what do you think about soul planning? Has it changed the way you look at your life in any way? And if it feels right to you, I'd love for you to make a comment. Let's just review. Life is not about just surviving challenges. It's equally about living and enjoying all the riches that Earth has to offer us. The relationships, the growth, the experiences, those teeny tiny moments, pockets of joy. We're here to learn, but we're here to live too. And in terms of eternity, this lifetime is just a blink of an eye. And if you're going through something difficult right now, just remember, it might not mean that it's time to give up. It might mean that it's time to pause, to look for a higher view, to pivot and approach life in a different way. If you enjoyed this video, I hope you will like and subscribe so you don't miss what's coming up next. And in the meantime, please remember you're never alone. You have a dedicated divine support team filled with angels and guides and loved ones and divine helpers that are always available to guide and support you. And just know sometimes they're just waiting for you to invite them to do that.